Our next presentation is with Karen. She's the VP of Sales and Marketing and Business Development at PNE. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage. Karen?
Hello. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Good afternoon. I'm going to go on the record right away that I am not a CX expert. I do sit in the C-suite, and we do take accountability. I have an accountability metrics on my performance metrics. But we're in a process of an evolution, so I'm going to do this presentation from a perspective of a case study for you all to see where we are at in the unification of CX throughout our organization. What our unique challenge is, our product is actually an experience. It's not something that they purchase and go away and use, or that they purchase and consume. It is literally an experience. So we have this cross-section of how do we give them the positive customer experience through the purchase to drive additional revenue, but we also have to merge that with the actual experience that we are delivering. So who is the PNE? Many of you from Toronto might think, oh, they're the CNE, but in Vancouver. While we do host a fair, we are a 365 organization that have really 4 pillars that we work with. We produce play in the sense that we produce our annual fair. We manage an amusement park that runs from May through the end of October. We produce concert series ourselves, as well as a haunted attraction in October. But we also host play for our clients. So on the B2B side of my business, we are selling to promoters, to community groups who are hosting festivals, and providing additional experiences that I sell on my ticketing site. But we're also a place for play. And this lies into our community side of our organization as a not-for-profit, in that we run and manage a 115-acre park that has cultural gardens, sanctuaries, bike paths. We do education programs. We have professional and minor sport on our site. And it's our mandate as a not-for-profit to fund the operations of that 115-acre site. The other part to our mandate as a not-for-profit is that we play for social good. So every dime that we make goes back into the development of the park and development of a series of programs that allow other groups to thrive and provide the experiences, whether it be on our site or in other areas. So community groups will get funding through us. They'll get resources through us. We provide space for things like our Japanese heritage community members to provide an interpretive center on our site. So our mandate is to reinvest back into that site. So revenue for us is not just about fulfilling our revenue targets, it's about fulfilling other people's needs within the community and making them thrive. What is our customer reality? Our customer reality is that our business is our customer, however, our customer is changing across the organization. We are a 115-year organization that still operates with the same mandate that we are recognized for within our fan base, and that is to be the social hub and provide an opportunity for connect within BC. But the challenge that we have right now as a 115-year-old organization is that we have a very strong, loyal fan base. And with a strong, loyal fan base, it's also the fan base that wants to see the same product. They want to see it delivered in the exact same way, and they change to them is the most dramatic thing in the world. If I cut out Superdogs from the Peony Fair, we will lose 50% of our attendance base because Superdogs, for them, is the most important reason that they come to the fair. But then I have this other half of my fan base, and it's actually where my future lies and where my opportunity lies, and that is the new fan that the majority of my business is tailored towards, but I have no relevancy for them. Because most of those fans started to come in where I was their primary opportunity for an experience. I came up during COVID when they couldn't have the experience, so I am now having to educate them because they didn't have the tradition of coming with their family in that time period. But I also have all of these aging products. So that's my reality, is I have this demographic of experience of a loyal fan and a new relevancy fan. So we are an organization where old meets new, where the insights that I in the last session that we all heard are critically important to us to be able to not only service the customer throughout to drive the revenue, but also to build our product, to actually provide the product that they want to come and participate in. Our experience that we provide is essential because as we continue to move into the future, what we do know from a recent brand study that we did is that when people come to the Peony, so when we get them there, people know that they belong. They see a part of themselves in whatever experience that we're providing, because in today's world, experience is the new reality, and it is the new currency. People are no longer looking to purchase or to gift a product they're looking to spend time with people. And that is in a large part because the hustle and bustle of that we all thrive and we all work in. So experience helps them move through this fast-paced environment. And that fast-paced environment, in all honesty, is in a large part that new reality, that new fan that we're chasing. So every experience is the new currency that drives the click, the conversion, and the community moment at the Peony. Experience is now the battleground for all of our revenue that we're trying to drive. But the risk of this experience is that there's a fractured delivery of that. If we don't have a form of unification across, then people will not become loyal. That's what we heard in the last session, is that we lose customers along the way because what they're promised online is not what they're receiving. And at the Peony, we transact about $65 million of our annual gross revenue online and about $40 million on site. So both are of equal importance. It's at the intersection of this, the experience that they're receiving, is where the opportunity lies for us in our product and in our delivery. When we have multiple opportunities and a wide selection of products and services, the volume of diversity and the demographics can cause friction in the marketplace. So we need that unification. We need people to understand that no matter what they're buying from us, Disney on Ice, the fair, Playland, they're going to receive the same experience throughout that process. So we started a process in 2018 in redefining our customer experience, but we really focused on a service model, not an experience model. And a service model meaning is we're going to give them positive service along the way, not a positive experience. And they're two fundamentally different things, because in a positive service model, it is a baton pass. It's not an experience flow through. So unification is actually where we're at. We're now currently unifying everything across our organization. It's important to note that CX is not just about satisfaction. Customer experience is one of the fastest growing measures of ROI, as we heard in the last sessions. Some of the information I found online is that 20% of higher customer brands with a unified experience show 20% higher customer lifetime value, 30% stronger brand advocacy, 25% faster sales cycle. We see that on our site because I have one business, we have 3 primary business units. One is Playland, and in Playland, there's a really strong positive guest experience in that model, primarily because it's led by our guest experience director. But the other reason, what I'm seeing from that is that 27% of our customers who go into Playland purchase another product in another business unit. Whereas in our fair, only 18%, where that is their first purchase another product in another business unit. So fundamentally, there's something wrong with the overall experience platform that they're receiving, that they're not seeing the opportunity in other areas. So for us, customer is at the center. It is everything that we do. But how? In a customer-centric, it is human-centric, empathy-driven, and insight-powered. Every decision starts here. For us, we have multiple different demographics that we're servicing, which is right now, in our process, we're defining those profile insights so that we can start defining the journeys for each of the experiences we're offering. Every decision for us starts here with these profile insights. And it sets us apart when the customer sees that their reflection. So we see a bigger uptake in our purchases online when our consumer can see themselves. And I'll use Playland as an example. Last year we ran a campaign for a new ride, and we allowed them to put themselves in the ride online to see the experience and to see what they would look like on that ride. We saw an immediate uptake in the purchase of coming on site versus in other years when we've shown a new ride, when we've onboarded a new ride, and we have just shown a picture of the ride. So we really allowed the guest to be in the center of that experience in a brand new product, and then they actually became our voice in the campaign to support, saying, "See me in Thunderbolt, come out, join us, it's an amazing experience." They all did that for us. So creating our customer-centric profiles was super important, and we do this every time we launch a new product, is defining who the different audiences that we're serving and how are we going to reach them, and we align our campaigns and our digital experience through that. The second is one team, one experience. As I mentioned earlier, we started with a service model, not an experience model, and that meant it was a pass the baton. Now we're creating a centralized playbook where we are ensuring that every department is working from the same playbook of experience, making sure that when we do that, that the team is receiving not only here's the playbook, but here's the training that you're doing, here's how we're incorporating it into performance metrics, here's how we are going to deliver it, and then making sure they have the information and the insights to be able to develop their operational plans, whether it be in the digital team, or whether it be on the parking team, or whether it be on this lady's team where she's selling a game. What is going to provide the service and the experience that to her customers to ensure that we can drive additional opportunity. So in this process, and this is really where we're at, we still are in silos, meaning that each person has their plan to resolve the challenge or the opportunity to deliver the product. They are working in silos, and we actually see a lot of disconnection and a lot of, I'll use NPS as an example. We see a significant difference in NPS ratings online as we do on site. And that is because they're experiencing a very different experience online than what they are on site, because there's no integration in that. So we are now working within our operations and within our sales and marketing team of how do we integrate those so that we can move from silos to a symphony in delivering that experience where every instrument within our symphony is playing to the same tune, playing the same song, and it's going to be absolutely essential in us being able to meet that mandate of our new customer who's looking for that experience. They're not looking for just to come and ride Thunderbolt, they're looking for the overall Thunderbolt. How did we do that? We did that everything from the brand campaign that we put in the market by putting the guest in that, to when they came on site, there was anybody who had pre-launched it, had special privileges for fast-track lines. We had special mini donuts that were designed in the Thunderbolt. People who were already connected to the Thunderbolt rolled that out and had that a consistent experience across the site. We do that with some operational challenges that we have as it relates to the overall experience in queue lines. Queue lines are a huge challenge from an operations perspective. Why do I buy this ticket online? A full pass, endless runs of rides, but then I stand an hour in a queue line. Well, what we've done is we've changed the experience of the queue line to match the experience of the digital environment, putting stages there to have performance, having roaming entertainers to increase the experience, to take away from that, to add engagement to the queue lines, to take away from the frustrations of just standing there waiting for their next opportunity. The next one is building a cohesive strategy across the organization. So the guest is at the center of every single one of our conversations at the C-suite when we're defining what's next. It is literally what is next, what are we hearing from our guests, what are other people hearing from the guests, and we're defining clear strategies. And one of the business case metrics that people have to put forward when launching a new product is their guest experience. What is the guest experience, or what is the client experience that we're looking to offer? And then that has to be put through the full operational execution of that new product. Connecting the data points. This is an opportunity for us right now because we're also, as a not-for-profit, we don't have the latest and greatest of the tools to share data. So, and data is subjective unless it's coming from a central source. And we find that multiple people have multiple spreadsheets, and how they're reading into that data is significantly different. So we are streamlining that connected data and making sure that all of our guests are getting that information. But what we also see, as I said earlier, is that we see the different results online to on-site, and that our purchaser is quite often not the person who is actually doing the experience. So now we have a disconnection of the purchaser profile and analytics that we can do to enhance the on-site experience with what the on-site person who is actually attending. So we're working through how to engage with them on-site digitally as soon as they arrive on site, so we can start to pick up on some of those insights on how we can expand on in real time to be able to expand to their moments that we did. And we did a new program this year where we had Playland Unlocked on our opening day, and we had a scavenger hunt the moment they arrived. Most of our guests' parents purchased their ticket, but the moment they got on site, they had to sign up for the scavenger online on their phone, and we were able to communicate with them throughout and expand their experience while they're on site. But then there's the fourth part. When your C-suite and you have a strategy, a clear CX strategy, right, coming from C-suite straight through the business planning process of new products, and then the delivery, you have the connected data. We heard a lot about collaboration in the last one, collaboration of how we're going to deliver it. Then what happens is you develop a sense of culture within the organization, and that's where that center core is what we're trying to get to right now. I'd say we're doing things in either three circles, and what we're trying to do is get to that center core where all those things are overlapping, and we're able to leverage the power of each of those. From a unified brand experience, we all know that brand is not what you say, it is what your customers feel. Everywhere, consistency in delivery builds trust, leads to revenue. We all know that. The consistency of the backbone for that is CX. Training is our process, and standards provides the consistency of that. Where we are at right now is in our journey is trying to link the online, the on-site, and everywhere within our site, because in 115 acres, it's not just about they've purchased their online, they come to the site, but they could be parking a 15-minute walk away to where they're actually going to have the experience. So everywhere on our site in those 115 acres, how are we integrating that overall? We've just recently launched a new partnership with Best Buy and Samsung where we have digital across our site so that we can communicate with the customer across the site and make real-time changes throughout in the information that we're sharing. Our CX interactions are not just digital or physical, it's both. Unified experiences blend performances, efficiencies with purpose. In effective CX models, what we're learning is that in-person experience is linked with the mobile, with the digital communities driving real-world actions, emotions, and loyalty. In the earlier example, providing an opportunity to interact with them digitally on site because that new fan base, that's what they want. So we're looking at different forms to be able to get those insights through using apps, gamification, digital experiences. We're even looking at how can we change a ride using digital experiences on the ride, on-site, but also how do you bring the on-site experience to online. In the Playland example with Thunderbolt, we brought the experience to them online. Memories matter. We have a phrase at the PNE, and that is that we build 10-second moments. People remember things in 10-second moments, and we want more 10-second moments in their 4 hours at Playland or their 6 hours at the fair. And to do that, we need to build on the emotional trust that they have with the product, the brand trust, the cross-channel engagement. How do we get more fair purchasers buying Playland, fair purchasers buying our year-round event portfolio? And then defining things on a revenue per relationship as well, because sometimes we spend a lot of time in changing one relationship when there's more opportunities than others. So we're taking a look at where are we maximizing our opportunities and spending a lot of time in enhancing that performance area. And what we've learned a lot is it's a lot easier to break a commercial transaction than it is to break an emotional loyalty. And seen in our Playland area where we have things like season pass offerings, we have multi-pack offerings, that really builds that emotional attention because they want to be a part of who we are and what we do. We introduced a new fair season pass last year, and we've seen a significant uptake in that because people felt a part of the experience overall. So the steps that we went through is defining the experience that we wanted, defined the level of engagement that we want. We're really working on turning our guests into being advocates. We're really building on a season pass model throughout our site, whether it be through Fair, whether it be through Playland. We're also working on loyalty programs with our ticketing site so that people, if they have $100 to spend on an experience, that they immediately go to our ticketing site to find that experience because they have loyalty and because they have a perk or they have some form of program. Because that's where we're going to see our growth. We're making our customer our advocates, and we're delivering on a better experience when they are. So where are we at on this? We are actually, the number one thing that I've learned as a what I'm going to say as a old new brand is measurement and evolution is our two number one things that we need to focus on. We were always stopping at empowerment. We were empowering our teams to deliver positive things, and when we heard, yeah, that was a great experience, we didn't go any further. But now we're spending so much more time in the measurement and analyzing the results and growing from those, and evolution. Status quo is no longer, and it's the hardest thing where we still haven't conquered it, is we've always done it this way. We have to break that mentality, because evolution is the only way that you can have that adaptive, unified guest experience or customer experience right from the digital through the brand, and for us in the product delivery that they have purchased. The bridge, and I'm going to close with that, saying that the bridge between revenue and loyalty is the customer experience. Every customer wants to feel personally understood and valued, even when you're serving thousands and millions of people. When it is intentionally, and that's the key word, when it's intentionally designed and delivered, that's where unification happens. You can have as many plans to deliver as you want, but unless you're intentional and collaborative, you won't deliver that unification. That's my story. Take questions.
Thank you, Karen. I think we have time for maybe one question. Yeah.
Customer experience. So you mentioned earlier about the unification of the customer experience, but also you have touched on customized customer experience. So I'm questioning how you make your decisions, and it definitely comes at operational cost. So it costs money if you want to customize. If you want to go low cost it, you standardize and you give everyone the same experience. So how you make your decision on that?
Well, when experience is our product and people are looking for the experience of, and especially in an economy like right now, is we do have to offer opportunities for them to customize. It might not mean that every part of the experience is customized. I'll use the fare as an example. People may purchase the fare and come. We have one flight baseline product, but in the evenings, for example, we'll have one stage that has one very specific concert type that they want to go, or we'll have one exhibit that's focused on that one piece, so that people see that ability to customize their day to what they're wanting to feel while still having the standard product that we offer. Well, the experience is our product, so we're customizing the experience as much as we can for them to be able to build their experience based on how they want to go through the day.
All right. Thank you so much. If anyone has questions, Karen's going to be outside. Yep.